One man was shot and killed and 5 guns recovered in a daring before dawn shooting between gunmen and the police in Gregory Park, St. Catherine. The running gun battle ended with a gun find on Dyke Road.
The final tally of weapons discovered in 5 barrels at a wharf in Kingston last week has revealed that 52 guns were hidden in the shipment from the United States, which was labeled groceries and clothing. The Jamaica Customs Agency has revealed that there were 50 assorted pistols in the shipment, 2 rifles, almost 3,000 assorted rounds of ammunition, and 61 assorted magazines.
When you see the amount of firearms sometimes that they are trying to bring in, it's really heartbreaking to know that our own Jamaicans are trying to disrupt the harmony of our society, which contribute to the proliferation of crime within the country. I realized that I had a natural ability to identify, the contents of luggage, contents of cargo shipments. As an image analyst, what I do is that I try to identify anomalies within an image. It's typically identifying what an anomaly is, identifying, things that are interesting, things that are suspicious, especially in your line of work.
Shauna Trow, as the professional, is a results-based policy development specialist with over 22 years cross-cutting international finance and development issues. What motivates me every day is that crime is a real issue on a personal level. When we look at the statistics, it's not only numbers, these are persons. These are persons' lives. These are children, they're women, they're fathers, there's community. And so I'm motivated that if we're going to get it right, everybody has to have all hands on deck, and we have to be deliberate in terms of providing for anti-violence and strategies that will reduce the proliferation of our guns. The SALIENT project was critical in our vision in addressing the concerns we have. The project was a little different in that it looked at both sides. There were macro issues, supply strategies, looking at the illicit guns. But there was also a sense that there had to be demand side. Who is the individual that demands it? Why do they demand it? Let us understand the violence. And I think SALIENT was very critical in looking at that, even in providing for the violence audits. It's one thing to know that somewhere is violent, it's another thing to understand the violence. In looking at the national control strategy, we received a report coming out of the SALIENT project. So the SALIENT project would have started in 2022. Coincidentally, the ministry also tabled and passed the legislation, or Firearms Prohibition Restriction Act. And it was critical because some of the recommendations coming out of SALIENT provided for changes in that legislation, looking at key things when we look at standards, when we look at transparency, data-driven to ensure that we can actually track the illicit guns versus licit or legitimate guns. And what we're going now into is providing for the regulatory framework. Those recommendations coming out of the report provided by Salient is critical as we look at deep diving, providing for what you would call the devil in the details.
Some of the deep concealment methods that we would have seen in our detection says to us that, hey, we have a real problem. You know, we have to equip the team as best as possible so they can be able to identify these anomalies, these shipments accurately and efficiently so we can get the type of response that we need to these criminals. Salient training. You know, this was one of the better trainings for me as an image analyst. It's helped me to more accurately identify more complex images, helped us to identify through scanning, of course, the different firearms, its components, just ammunition as well, and the different caliber of ammunition. So the Salient training would have contributed greatly to the detections that the officers who were exposed to the training would have made. What we would have seen is roughly a 70% increase in overall detections of arms and munitions between 2022 to 2025. And this marks a very significant milestone here at the agency, you know, because we would have transitioned our scanning program to 100% Jamaica Customs officers led initiative, and we have definitely seen that difference.
Up first this evening, confirmation that more than 200 illegal firearms and 40,000 rounds of ammunition,
19 firearms including 6 high-powered rifles and just over 470 assorted rounds of ammunition were seized. A barrel was scanned and found to contain anomalies. The firearms and ammunition were found inside a black travel bag in the barrel.
As a Chief Technical Director at the Ministry of National Security, my focus is looking at crime prevention and rehabilitation portfolio. I am one of 3 in the Ministry of National Security. The portfolio looks at community engagement, providing for resilience at the individual and the community level in order to disrupt the cycle of violence and add to what I would want to consider our supply side strategies to ensure that the individual is taken care of as we look at the macro problems. Our case managers who report directly to me provide for that wraparound service that the most vulnerable require, those that more than likely will have a propensity to either be victims of violence or perpetrators of violence. And so we work with them along with education, providing for the sort of psychosocial and other services delivery, because we recognize that violence needs an ecosystem. And if we're supposed to change the trajectory of some of these persons, we will also have to change the ecosystem.
My name is Jermaine Lutin, principal of Kingston High School. I would describe myself as a very jovial person, an educator who has been in the system for more than 20 years, 15 of which would have been spent as a regular classroom teacher, the latter 5 as principal of Kingston High School. As a principal of Kingston High, it is my goal that my students excel academically. The public would have viewed the school as a school that harbors children who usually don't do well, who usually are mixed up in a lot of wrong activities, and that is one of the things that would have negatively impact the school. So even when we get children that are academically inclined, they usually tend to go elsewhere because of the negative perception.
The key things that we do is actually looking with the Ministry of Education and Labour at persons who have a risk to violence. So one of our key activities is looking at a case management methodology that focuses on our most vulnerable, using the schools as the entry point into the community. The Ministry of National Security, in working with SALIENT, provided technical advice. So we formally look at 34 schools, but SALIENT would have engaged us in terms of looking at where are the gaps and where the project could have assisted in providing for additional schools. We worked very closely with SALIENT in order giving guidance so that where there were gaps in our methodology, the SALIENT project was able to assist.
When I assess the SALIENT intervention, I look at it as a game changer. Originally, when we look at the perception of Kingston, it wasn't a good one. But since we have embarked on the SALIENT project since this term, we have realized a change. We have realized acceptance in the community. The students who are involved in the workshop, I would describe them as students who have excelled academically, who are more emotionally intelligent, who are seen now as ambassadors, peace ambassadors of the school. They are, where I put it, very jovial. They are more willing to participate in class activities. They are more willing to intercept and prevent violent acts within the school community.
Well, my name is Sarah Reed, and I'm from Kingston High School. I would say that the challenges I face on a daily basis as a young woman is I have a lot of expectations from my family and from the community. So I'm trying to make my family proud. Violence in my community is very bad. From all the young men my age will join gang at this rate so fast. So everything and around my community is very bad. At the age of, I believe 8, I was in my primary school at that time. I will call that person a friend, but she was not a friend at the time. She would bully me as a fun joke. So at that time, I would hit her, and then she would retaliate and hit me back. And now, at the age I am, and what I learned from the program, I would have tried to take myself out of that situation. I would have tried to find a cooperation with her and tell her that I do not feel comfortable with you hitting me. I do not feel like we're friends in this situation. It feels like you're bullying me and I'm supposed to follow you. I do not like that. That's how would I respond.
My name is Nathaniel West. I'm from the Kingston High School and my community is Rockfort. I'll describe challenging facing as a youth is violence. We as a youth, the older generation goes for the younger generation because they can corrupt our mind and push us into violence. There was someone in the school that every day he comes to school, he will provoke me. So one day, my cup was overfilled and I burst out at him and we started to fight. And I took out my pen and I stabbed him in his arm. So the SALIENT program helped me. Helped me to control my anger because sometimes my anger gets over me. Sometimes I'll just stay like, when I'm in an angerful situation, I'll just count to at least 10.
Some of the positive change that I've seen since the introduction of the SALIENT program is a reduction in fights. Usually we would have, on a given day, 3-4 fights being reported to the Dean of Discipline office. For the last 2 weeks, within that 2-week period, we have only had 2 squabbles. We're not calling them real fights. So we are seeing a reduction in violent activities. We no longer see extortions coming out, but the main thing that we have seen is a reduction in fight and conflict. And when we see that transformation for those who were given problems and see how they have transformed and how they have influenced the other, we know that this program and the right selection was the best thing to do.
How the training helps me, I think it helps me to believe in myself, to believe who I am. I think I can help others by teaching them some of the skills and some of the ways that I used sometimes to control my anger. My mother and father are saying, it's a new me, it's a new Nathaniel they're seeing. Because I've changed in a lot of ways, like my behavior is changed completely. So it's a new me.
Well, my mother has said I have grown a lot for the past couple of months that I've been in this program. She said that I have gone more mature from the time, and I get to know how to anger my issues more, because that was the biggest problem in my feedback life. So she said, I get to know how to manage my anger, and she's very proud of the path that I'm taking now because it's not a dark path anymore. Well, I can help others by, well, one, I can help them by trying to understand their anger management, to try to control it, right? And two, I can try to leave them from the violence side and try to make them have a better understanding with their peace and how they need to control everything.
I do believe in country above self, and one of that is to detect any type of illicit trafficking that is happening at our ports. And I come to work daily with that mantra. It's something that I speak every day to my team members to ensure that they have that at the forefront of their mind to say, look, I'm here today. If something is coming through my space, I will detect it. So that is the mind frame, that is the mindset to ensure that we have a better Jamaica, which will see ultimately a reduction in the crime rate.
We are hopeful because now we know that the methodologies that we have based on the evidence are working. But the world is a volatile and always changing place, and it creates a healthy tension to know that we cannot relax. And so that healthy tension provides for us to continue to provide for the sort of success using the evidence-based approaches, working with our partners such as SALIENT and other international development partners, so that we do not get comfortable, that we ensure that we continue to provide for the sort of policies and programs to make the changes that are needed.